Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield ship review. In today's review, we've got the Babylon, or in my case, the Babylon 2. So the number after the name is the tier of the vessel. The higher the number, the better the tier. Regardless of the tier, the ship stays the exact same aesthetically. The only difference is the stats. So for instance, this tier 2 Babylon has a reactor with 27 power. A tier 1 Babylon could have a reactor with 24 power, and a tier 3 could have a reactor with 33 power. So yeah, it's basically the better the tier, the better the modules, but stays the same for the most part. So I have done a review of a ship similar to this. It was this ship, I believe, but it was slightly different. It was the Galbank Babylon. It was utilized by Galbank to basically, I'm assuming in-game, to kind of ship money between systems. That one you had to get by stealing it and shooting some friendly people. This one you can buy, which is nice. I thought, it's because it's technically a different ship, I might as well do a review of it. And the fact that this could be earned more legitimately. So it's kind of a mix of all vessels, but it's got that Hope Tech vibe to it. It's got the Hope Tech cockpit and the top section, and then it's got the kind of industrial cargo to it. Now it's got some Stroud Eklund. There was one commenter. Thank you for telling me that I was saying that wrong. I was pronouncing it Shroud because I'm an idiot. So it's Stroud Eklund with an ST. But there's some Stroud Eklund pieces. There is some Deimos pieces, and we've some Nova Galactic. I think it's another one of these amalgamations. Anyway, so we'll get into the stats of the ship. So it's got fuel of 400 or 780, which is really, really good. That's coming mainly from those big fuel tanks at the back. It's got a hull of 1071, which for a C class is a bit lacking. There's some C classes that have upwards of like 1500, so like it's not the most ideal hull, but it's not bad. Cargo, it's got 1505, which isn't bad, but it's, I don't know, it's a bit low. Now, you could probably increase the cargo by like an extra 600 if you swap those cargo containers. That red one there is the highest capacity. It gives 435, I believe. Those green ones are the lowest. They only give 210, so we could probably bump up the cargo capacity by about 600-700, which is pretty nice. There's also some more cargo somewhere, if I can find them. We'll do a teardown anyway, and we'll see what we can do to improve it. So, like I was saying about the reactor, it's a C class with 27 power. For C class, that's kind of low. That's on the lower end of some B classes even, so we'll definitely have to recommend upgrading that reactor as soon as we can. It's got a crew of 6, which is really, really good for a C class. It can cruise max out around 8, usually without perks. If you have perks, it can go up to, I think, 10 or 11. It's got a jump range of 27 light years, which is really, really good. 3 off of max. Now, given how heavy this ship is, it might be quite difficult to get it to 30 light years, but we will try. It's got shields of almost 1100, which, again, is pretty decent. Max C shields you can get is 1600. You can also equip the Vanguard shields. They're like 1450. They're like pretty easy to get in terms of like if you're looking to basically pimp out a B or C class ship, you can go with them. It's got 3 sets of weapons. It's got lasers, ballistics, and EM. Lasers, it's got 2 laser turrets there on those back wings on the port and starboard. Ballistic, it's got 2 turreted ballistic cannons on the front, and then EM is just there right in the middle. So this ship is 307,440, and that price will vary depending on your perks and depending on the tier of the vessel. If you pay less, or if you get a lower tier, it'll be cheaper, a higher tier, it'll be more expensive. So I found this here at the ship service technician on Hope Tech. So if we look here, Hope Town is on Polvo. There's Polvo there in the Valo system. Valo is hidden under Nari, and there it is there. And then there's Alpha Centauri, and there's Sol. So it's over here. If you come here and it's not here, I would go to Mercury, wait 24 hours on your ship, and then come back and just try again. Could take a few attempts, but you'll eventually get it. We're going to now jump to our usual spot to do a teardown and walkthrough. Alright, so here we are at the kind of the glamour shot, as they say. So just like looking at it, it's like a very, very cool design. It the fact that it has the turreted weapons on it kind of make me, even though like it's meant to be kind of an all-arounder, I feel like it's got good positioning. If we could modify it slightly, we could make it into a good little turret boat. Now, some people might not like turrets because they're not as good as, say, like static weapons. But you can't really go wrong with turrets just because they allow you to focus on flying while while they do the job. But yeah, I'm just a big proponent of turrets. Anyway, we're going to drop down now, and I'm going to try not to kill myself as I exit the air. Alright, there's a little bit of a jump there, apologies. Okay, so entryway at the front, which is always nice to see. We've got a Tayo entryway. Also got those little bumpers there, which they're nice. So into the Tayo entryway, there is no medkit, which is kind of a bit annoying, but you know. But we have a door, which is always nice. I like having a door as opposed to a ladder. So immediately we have a 1x1 storage room, which leads to a workshop. 10 out of 10. I love workshops, entryways. So we've got the weapon workbench, we've got the industrial workbench, we've got the spacesuit workbench, and then we've got the chair that's in every HopeTech vessel. Some of the... I always thought some of the workbenches, or like the workshops, had a research station. It's weird that they don't. So if we go up here to the next... Oh, whoops, we overshot that. So we've got a little 1x1 storage room here. We're going to drop back down just to check this other one because there's multiple ladders.
I'm working hard, Captain.
Nice, good job. Okay, so we'll come back to here in a minute because it seems like that's where you're supposed to go. So we come up here and we have this 1x1 like I was saying, and then we go up another level. And we have the captain's quarters. Now, HopeTech, I quite like the Nova Galactic captain's quarters, but HopeTech's doing a decent job. You've got a nice little kind of a little pod area where you can sleep. Nice bed, looks comfy. Got a really nice lived-in desk, a lot of clutter, which kind of fits the aesthetic. And we've got this really nice kind of corner couch. Even Tayo don't have that. Then we've got another little sofa, or a little single-seat couch, and then we've got a toilet where the door closed. Very nice. And then if we head this way, we have another 1x1 storage room. And then if we drop down here, we have another 1x1 storage room. And then we're going to go back up. And then we have, this is a computer core room. Nice to see. Again, HopeTech does decent jobs of their like interior habitats. Got a lot of workstations here. And then if we come up here, we have another 1x1. That leads to nowhere. So we're going to have to come back and check out the other side of the ship. So we come back this way. Some of these rooms kind of seem slightly redundant.
Gravity's a bitch. Don't let anyone tell you
different. Yeah, I'm well aware. I just hit my legs. We come up here. We enter into, this is a mess hall area. We have some fridges here, so we can keep some cool items if we need to. And then this is I believe this is a Shroud Eklund kitchen. We've got quite a large, like, industrial kitchen here. We've got a cooking station, got a little confectionery oven, coffee maker over there, some water. We got a nice window looking out on the starboard side, which is always nice to see. And then if we come in here, we have the main mess area. We've got a little kind of section over here for some just buckets and stuff. And then we have a dartboard here if you want to play darts, and some chairs. We have the main food area here. We've got, what is that? It's a place for 16 people. God damn. And we've got two little chairs here. And then in here we have kind of the officer's mess. It's a little bit more relaxed. For some reason, that map reminds me of the maps in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. If any of you guys ever played it, they all kind of, any like area that has them maps, like on hollow maps and stuff. I don't know why. We're pretty random. Anyway, and then we have another little couch here, which is quite nice, you know, if you don't want to eat, you just want to kind of chill. And we've got lockers over there, and they look cool. We got some cool leather jackets. I want one of them. I'm in my... Oh, I'm in my space... Why am I in my spacesuit? I'm supposed to... I don't know why I'm wearing my spacesuit. Anyway, we come over here and we have... Oh, nice. We have an infirmary. So we do have a research lab on this bad boy. And then we have the pharmaceutical lab. So you can make everything on this ship, which is really nice. Got some beds. Kind of wish you could sit on the beds, but you can't. We've got a single chair here if you want to have your lunch. And we've got a couple of utensils for healing. And then we have Sam here is in another 1x1 storage room that leads to the docking port. Very nice. I'm trying to figure out where the bridge is because I think I missed it. I like this interior, this mess hall, but it's very confusing. So if we drop down, there's the workstation. Is it up at the top? Did I miss it? Okay, is it through the computer area? No, that leads nowhere. Do I see a ladder up here? Okay, it goes to another level. Ah, here we go, okay. And so we come up that ladder here, and we have a crew control station here. Always nice to see. We've got a lot of workspace for your crew, and they can work. Well, yeah, work. And then is this? Yes, this is the bridge. Okay, and we have the typical Hope Tech bridge. Really like the Hope Tech. Ooh, that's a cool view. Really like the Hope Tech bridge. Looks more like a kind of a dropship. I've said this many times. Looks more like a dropship than like a kind of a proper bridge. You've got the pilot seat there, co-pilot to your left, and you've got your navigator to your right. We're gonna hop in it, take it in orbit, see how she flies, see what the power's like, and then we're gonna do a teardown. Looks quite cool. A lot of these Hope Tech vessels, they have like the cockpit set up like this on the top, and it makes it look like it's like a separate entity. Like it's like a small little ship docking with a bigger ship. Because yeah, reactor is currently a bit questionable. That'd probably be one of the first things I'd recommend upgrading on this. As always, I have a perk that increases my power by 5. So for the sake of this review, we're going to be removing that 5 power. We're going to pull from the shields real quick. We're going to give us max. So weapon-wise, we have turreted lasers that will not fire. We have ballistic turrets that also will not fire. And then we have a single EM. And then if we do a little speed test, we have a base speed of 130, which is very slow. A boost speed of... around... It's not too bad. What is that, like 450? Again, this is a C-class vessel, and it's kind of meant to be. I feel like it's meant to be less agile. We're going to do the agility test now, though. Do a quick pitch. That's surprisingly fast for a C-class vessel. I'd give that like a 7 or an 8. And the yaw's about the same. This thing must have very good mobility. And then the roll's not too bad, but roll's kind of hit and miss. We're going to quickly go down to the surface now and do a teardown, and then show some potential upgrades. Alright, so here we have it tore down into 4 sections. So we'll start off with the weapons, because they're kind of floating, but we'll show at the end where exactly they attach to. So at the front here, we have a pair of these Marauder 115N railgun turrets from Horizon Defense. C-Class, 960 range, 1.5 fire rate, 81 hull damage, and 4 max power. And then in here, between them, we have a Fulminator 8000 suppressor from Lightsight. C-Class, 960 range, 0.80 fire rate, 1 damage to hull and shields. It does 58 electromagnetic damage and requires 3 power. And then at the back here, we have a pair of these Blaze P 2GW SX pulse laser turrets from Lightsight. C-Class, 1500 range, 4 fire rate, 25 damage to shields, and 4 power. So for the habitat modules, we have an Armstrong 10R cockpit from Hope Tech, gives 22 cargo and 2 crew station. Behind that, we have a Hope Tech control station 2x1, and we have a Hope Tech companionway 2x1 or 1x1. And then we have the 103D Guardian shield generator from Dogstar, C-Class, 10 power, 1095 max health. Now there is a better version of this shield. And then we can obviously go the other one. So if we were to stick with just this styling of shield, this one here, so it goes all the way up to a 104, so one higher than this, and it brings us up to the 1350. So we basically get like almost what is that, like almost an extra we'll say almost 300. My maths is failing currently. So it's not a bad improvement. Now you still would require Starship Design 4, and it's an extra like 6k. And if I remember from my review video, or for my video on the best modules, I believe it to be like level 30 plus. It's either level 30 or level 50. So either way, it's quite a kind of a fair old journey. Now, if you want to go for the best of the best shield, this bad boy here, the Assurance SG-1800 shield generator from Sexton Shield System. It's C-Class, 12 power, 1600 shields. This will cost you 32k, so again, same price as the other upgrade. Also requires Starship Design 4, and then for the sake of this, you could pop it there. Now, if neither of them are an option and you don't have the level, you can join the Vanguard and do the couple of introduction quests and get your hands on the Vanguard Bulwark Shield. It's only a B class, but it requires 12 power and it gives 1450, so only 150 off, which is really, really good. So I'd recommend doing that if you can't get the other two. And then for the aesthetic pieces, the structural, we've got two of these Nova Cowlings, one starboard front and one port front. Two of these M30 Ulysses Helium-3 tanks, 100 and 100 each. And then two of these Nova Cowlings, starboard aft and port aft. And then we have two of these Deimos radiators. We have the phenomenal equipment plate from Tayo, really good for weapon hardpoints. We got a Nova bracer and a Hope Tech pipe aft. So now if we go to the kind of the second part of the top of the ship. For the habitat modules, we have a Hope Tech Captain's Quarters 2x1, a Hope Tech Companionway 1x1, and a Hope Tech Computer Core 2x1. Behind that, we have the SGD 3200 Grav Drive from Slayton Aerospace, C-Class, 11 power, gives 38 jump thrust, which isn't bad, giving us the current configuration of a 27 light-year range. Now, if we were to increase that, if we look at the Grav Drives, you can definitely go big with the Grav Drives. So if we were to stay with this model, the SGD, do we have one of them available? We do not have one of them available currently. If you want to go the best of the best, there's a couple of options. So you have these two here. So both of these give 50. They both require 11 power, which is the same as this, but they both give 50. Now the main difference here is that one of them has 300 grav drive health, whereas the other one has 288. And obviously this one is a little bit lighter. Now I would probably recommend this one. It costs 72k though, which is kind of pricey compared to the 30k of this one, and it requires Starship Design 4, and I believe you have to be like level 50. If we did install this, it would bring our jump range to 30 light years, which is definitely what you want. And then for the fuel tanks here, we have two of these 600T Helium-3 tanks from Ballistic Solution, 290 fuel each. Behind there, we have a pair of these Poseidon DT2200 engines from Panoptes, C-Class, 4 max power, 28,320 engine thrust, and 9,600 maneuvering thrust. So they're kind of power heavy, giving like the amount of thrust they give. I'm just going to see if we have any of the like highest tier version of them available. Okay, so this is the D2 the 2030, which gives you an extra 6k engine thrust and an extra 2k maneuvering thrust. And it costs an extra, so basically it's almost like double the price and requires Starship Design 4. But if you were to slap these bad boys on in its place, you already have 100, you already have like 100 mobility. But you can, obviously, if you add more onto it, you'll be able to keep the mobility a little lower. Now, if you wanted to go a little bit faster, there's probably some B-class variants that would give you a little bit more speed. Like these ones here, you're getting a little less max thrust. Let me show you. You get a little less max thrust. Oh my, the mobility is Like, you get a little bit less max thrust. But if you were to, like, mount them, like so, you could get that mobility up. Now, you could do this system I usually do where you, like, duplicate them up to if you wanted to merge them. But if you didn't want to merge them, you could obviously mount them a little higher. You could, you can't currently mount them, but you would be able to mount them higher. Now, that's if you want a little bit more speed. I feel like with a vessel like this, though, like, you're better off just kind of upgrading the ones you have. Let me just remove them real quick. Come on. There you go, perfect. Yeah, so I just recommend upgrading to the other ones. The, what were they? The 30... The 230. And then for the reactor, we have the Pinch 6Z reactor from Jiang. It's a C-class, 27 power. It's pretty expensive and kind of pretty crappy. So if we go for reactors here and we see, we have a couple of options. So we have this one here, this S40 sheared flow reactor, C-class also. It gives 40 power generated. Now it's almost twice expensive, and it requires you to have Starship Design 4 as well as Piloting 4. Now, I don't think there is another reactor. Wait, how big is this? Okay, so there is another C-class reactor that gives like 40 power, but it gives a lot more hull. Actually, this might be the one that gives a lot more hull. But yeah, I definitely recommend upgrading the reactor. This is obviously your end game, but if you can't get to it, there's like other alternatives. Like as you've seen there, you can put one of these bad boys in. It's only a B class. It still requires Starship Design 4, but that's not hard to get to. It only requires Piloting 3, and you're only losing out 1, and it's also lighter. It's only 70 instead of 116. Now for the cargo here, we have a Stormax 30 cargo 210. Then we have a Stormax 50 that does 320, and another Stormax that does 320, and then finally we have this one that does Stormax 60, which is 435. So if we were to remove these ones and basically just replace all of them with this one here, we would basically like effectively double our storage, which is very nice. Now for the aesthetic pieces, on the back here, we have two of these Deimos Wing C. We have a starboard and a port here. And then we have the Deimos Wing D, starboard and port. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these Hope Tech starboard mid, and then 4 of the Hope Tech port mids. And then we have the Hope Tech Cap A mid. And then we have a starboard 4A, port 4A, and then A. So these are all the one piece. They're just kind of modeled all differently. Now, if we go to the kind of the main habitat area, so we have the Shroud 3x2 mess hall. We have the Infirmary 2x1, the 1x1 companionway, and then we have a Hope Tech companionway 1x1 and a storeroom 1x1. Now, what's interesting here is there's a lot of these Deimos pieces that realistically you could fit a lot more on this ship if you want to. So, for instance, let me show you real quick. Because obviously having more habitats like modules can be a bit like annoying trying to like, you know, figure out where you're going. But adding these extra habitat give you 5 hull. Let me see, how much does the 2 give? So they all give you 5 hulls. So technically speaking, if you wanted to pump the hull of this vessel, you could just lay out a load of these like this. Now obviously that some people might not like that. I'd probably, with the amount of space you have back here, I would probably go to one of the bigger star yards, like the Deimos one or the Shroud one, and maybe pick up there's like a couple of 3x2s and 3x3s. I'd probably put, since we have the mess hall here, I'd probably put like a 3x2 all-in-one berth, just because it has like the little kind of living area, or maybe a 3x2 battle center, just for the added extra kind of, you know, just kind of the vavoom of combat. But yeah, so we also have this Hope Tech, Hope 11 Docker starboard connected to the Shroud Companion. And then we have, for the aesthetic pieces, we've got 2 of these Nova braking engines. We got port and we got starboard. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these Deimos A hulls. We have 2 of these Nova cowling here. We got one port aft and port forward. And then we've got another one. This is starboard aft. and starboard forward. And then we've got 2 more, so effectively we've got 8 altogether. And then at the front here, we have a Hopetech Bumper A, another one on the opposite side, and then a Deimos braking engine in the middle. And then at the bottom here, we have the shipbed landing bay from Tayo. We have a 1x1 companionway, and then we have the 2x1 workshop. Now, I would recommend swapping these around, just because if you're going to use your workshop, you don't want to have to open a second door. So I would lay them out that way, so you have the second, door there. And if you did want to, you again have more room here. You could remove this and remove this. And you could obviously add an armory down at the bottom if you wanted to. It would make sense. You'd have your armory this side, and then you'd have your workshop that side. This is a very, to be honest, this is a very good ship if you want to upgrade. And then for landing gear, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 AccuLander 11 landing gear from Shroud Eklund. They each give 2 thrust. And then for the aesthetic pieces, we have this Deimos belly aft, a Deimos hull A. We have 2 of these Sea Deimos wings, port and starboard. We have another Deimos hull, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these Shroud cowling, 1 LA. And then we have a little porthole here, and then finally we have these Deimos skegs. So we're going to slap it back together, and I'm going to give some opinions on what you would upgrade. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to rip out the reactor, and we're going to put a better reactor on. So we're going to remove that one, and we're going to go... Obviously, you want to have... where is it? Obviously, you want this one, if you can. But if you can't get it, like I said, you can, for the time being, you could go with one of these ones. They're a lot easier to get. And then for the engines, we're going to upgrade the engines a little bit, just to get the better model. This is kind of what I mean when I talk about the tiering system, because if you got the tier 3 version of this vessel, if you can find it, it would probably come with the better reactor and the better engines. So we're going to slap them bad boys in there, like so. Now, for the weaponry, I'm going to be removing these weapons, and we're going to be replacing them. I like turrets, but I feel like when it comes to turreted weapons, generally speaking, you want particle weapons, because particle weapons damage both shields and hull. So we're quickly going to replace these cargo again, like I was saying, just so we can get some extra storage. It's nice to have, like so. Now for the turrets, we could actually, I would probably recommend having 2 sets of turrets on this vessel, just because the actually before we do the turrets, we're going to put the shield on. I almost forgot about that. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using the Vanguard shield, just because it's easy to get. If you already have the perks unlocked, I would go with this Assurance one, because it's the best in the game. 1600 shield, but like I said, we might not always have that, so we're going to put this here in its place. Now for the turreted weapons, what we're going to do is we got to go to B class. Now with turreted weapons, like anything else, generally you can find turreted weapons either have 3 or 4 power. I'm in C class for some reason. So like for instance, see if I can find any 4 power turrets. Okay, no, maybe all turrets are 3 power. Okay. So, because it's C class, we're going to go with C class turrets. So, I'm going to go with these ones first. These are Horizon Defense Disruptor 3340A Auto Alpha turrets. C class, 4200 range, 4 fire rate, 90 damage to shield and hull, and then 3 max power. So, what we're going to do is we're going to put a turret up here, like so. And we're going to have this turret facing... Come on. Yeah, we're going to have this turret facing backwards. And then we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to put another turret here, like so. And then another one here. And these are going to be the turrets that are kind of focused on the back of our vessel. So we're going to... I need to remove this shield real quick. So we're going to equip these weapons. So I always put my turrets there. Now we're going to put a second set of turrets. So you notice how we could, in theory, add 1 more turret. But I feel like these 3 are enough at the back to get the job done. Now, for the frontal turrets, we're going to do a different styling. We're probably going to have to jump down to the B-class turrets. But there's not much of a difference. So the main options for B-class turrets is you have these two here. So this one, this one's slightly better, but I don't really like the look of it. Again, if you want what's better, you go with these ones, but I prefer these ones. And then obviously comparing them, so these do 16 damage. These ones do 19 damage. So I'm going to go with these ones, and what we're going to do is we're going to place... So ideally we want to place them there, but we're going to have to fiddle around with some of these pieces. Let me see, if we were to, just out of curiosity, let me grab that. Okay, no, we're good. So we can modify these pieces by fiddling with them. So what I would recommend doing I'm gonna put that back in there. See, this is one of the issues with like some of the bigger pieces is you can like pieces, they exist, like you can flip them. No, I want that one there. Perfect. So we're going to put that like so. So we're basically gonna change the layout of this just slightly. And then we're going to swap this. Come on, nearly. Yeah, perfect. Like that there. And then we're just going to change you so that you're not... There we go, perfect. So now this... And then just to kind of level it out a little bit, we're going to delete these ones and replace them. Now, you obviously can replace those ones. These are them ones, but I'm just kind of moving them back a little bit. And then what we're going to do is for the turrets, we're going to place... Now, you have multiple points here. You can place two of them here, one each side, like... Snap, please. One like so, one each side there. And then you can place... I would place two at the front like so, like this. And then you'd have those 4 turrets there. Now, if you don't want to use all 4 turrets, I'd probably recommend doing this instead, moving them slightly forward like so, and then having 1 turret centered like that. And then that gives you the 6 turrets, so you've got 1 turret facing frontally, you've got 2 turrets that can look back, or look each side, and then 1 turret on the back. And, like, that's, I mean, with that current setup, like, yeah, you're pretty much good to go. Like I said, you could overkill it if you wanted to. You could obviously place, if you did want to, for instance, you could do that, and then do that. So you have those 2 turrets there, and then you could finish off by duplicating one of these, and you could slap this bad boy on the front. And like at this point, this is kind of like, to me, this is more like a kind of like a proper naval vessel. Like, this is like kind of a cruiser almost. You've got a lot of turreted weapons. So you could definitely go with this style if you want a lot of turrets. But like I said, if you don't want a crazy amount of turrets, then obviously you can just go the route of having those 2 sets of 3 turrets. And then for storage, we're going to see if we can increase the storage just a little bit. Because I feel like with those bigger engines, we can get a little bit more. Now, you notice how we have these like little kind of sections here that stick down. Now what you could do is you could move them out like that, just ever so slightly. And then if we go with cargo, we've got a couple of different options. So what we could do is we could use some of these. We could slap these in their place. They would increase the cargo by 375. Now you could obviously extend that to if you wanted to, and just like some more cargo. That actually looks quite good. Now, obviously, you see the mobility is starting to drop a little bit. But if you put turrets on a ship, I wouldn't worry about the mobility because the turrets are going to be shooting. You don't need to move too much. And then, what are the main difference between these ones? These are 395. So yeah, you could overkill this cargo. Like, this is 3,000 currently. Now we're losing some jump range and we're losing some mobility. But like I said, the turrets they do the job as is. And then that's kind of pretty much it. Like, it's a good ship as is. Oh, sorry. One other thing is, it is nice to have some actual, like, controllable weapons. So since we have all of these different controllable weapons, we're going to go the usual route that I like to do. We're going to get a couple of these electro beam rifles. So we have these electron beams, A class. They 3 power and they do 13 damage. Now, if you have the Vanguard projectors, you can go with these ones, but you know you might not. So we're just gonna strap 2 of them here, and we're gonna put them under. Now we're going to do a little technique. We could mount them here, but they glitch a little bit. Although that's not like a huge issue. So for the sake of this, I'm going to put them there. Now, how you would place them, I'll just show you. So if we strap them up on top, like so, and then you duplicate it, and then press A, and then it just slots in like that. And then you can put the turret back, like so. And then we'll do the same the other side. We'll just remove the turret briefly. We'll strap this on top, duplicate, goes under, and then just put the turret. And then if we set our weapons, so our primary weapon is going to be those electron beams. So now you have some weapons there, just 2. It's like, you don't want to go too overkill, like with the weapons and stuff. It gets the job done. So yeah, that's how I'd recommend upgrading it. It is a very cool ship, like I was saying, and I feel like it's one of the perfect ships if you want to like add turrets and just try out turrets. If you haven't used turrets, I'd recommend using them. They're not as satisfying as, let's say, using your own weapons, because, you know, like controllable weapons. But I just like them because it gives the illusion of a ship being, you know, like more like crewed more than just one person. But as always, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys have flown this ship, or if you've actually stolen the Galtech version, or the Galbank version. And if you have, how did you guys spec yours? Did you kind of keep it as the more kind of general purpose all around her, or did you spec it more towards combat, or in this case, like kind of an armored cargo hauler? Yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and also check out some of my other reviews. Bye bye.